the peacock chair represents the man. And it's really interesting because I was thinking about it this morning, and it was originally made by a woman in the Manila prison, probably a couple hundred years ago is where it was originated, was in the Manila prison. And this woman allegedly killed her husband. So it's known to, the prisons in Asia will give the inmates raw material for making furniture and different handicrafts and things like that. And so this woman, she originated the peacock chair. And what's interesting about it is she's photographed sitting in the chair with her baby. And when I think about her and why she would have created this chair, which represents the man, the thought came to me that, you know, as a woman, the thing that we want the most is safety. And so her sitting in the chair represents this beautiful symbol of being held by the man, by the male. And guys might actually think that the peacock chair is kind of like frou-frou, but if you really look at what's going on here, the peacock chair represents the man. And so oftentimes what you'll see is you'll see a woman in the chair, and they use it a lot at weddings and things like that. And it almost seems kind of strange when there's a guy in the chair, because the peacock chair is actually male. Like if it were a gender, the peacock chair would be male. Okay? And so what happens is when the girl sits in the chair, it's a symbol of being held by him. So the chair is what is holding her. And if you can think about, like on a wedding, like on a honeymoon, when the guy scoops up his bride into his arms and he carries her across the threshold, this is what the peacock chair embodies. It embodies this idea of the male. And she, in the chair, represents him holding her in the most beautiful and delicate and loving way. And the peacock chair is actually made from rattan, or in Indonesia, they say rotan. And it is the silk of all woods. It's one of the top 5 hardwoods, but it is definitely the silk of all woods, and it's delicate. And just the way that the whole thing is made and laced together represents that this beauty and softness that the man holding her is meant to symbolize. And so that's why I feel like the peacock chair has played an important role in history. It's so iconic, and it's definitely deserved a place in all chairs that have ever been made in furniture history. So I'm here in Indonesia, and I work with the Indonesian peacock chair makers, and today we're working on a project. And a lot of the chairs actually that have been made are not that strong. And so I've come in, Home Vestures is the company, and we've come in and we've looked at how the chair is being made, the quality of it, the materials that are being made, and even and who's making it. Like what are they doing, you know, and are they paying attention to all the details? And I'm going to tell you they're not. So we have gone through a lot of Peacock chairs. We've made hundreds of Peacock chairs. And I have hundreds of Peacock chairs right now in Arizona. But I think one of the major messages in the construction of the Peacock chair is the quality. Because think about it, if the Peacock chair represents the man, then what does it stand for? Right? It stands for like the highest quality. So if we were to liken this to a guy, to the male, it would represent attention to details, attention to high quality raw material. It would represent the appropriate type of hands on it, weaving it. And then as a finished product, it needs to hold who's in it. And so as a male and as a man, masculine energy is a strong energy. And so it represents him in a tangible way, like an extension. And so in the way of furniture goes, as we make it here in Indonesia, I work with a lot of men who are making these chairs, and I don't think they really understand what it means, that it means them. This chair represents the man, the male. It is them. So all the quality that is focused on and how it's designed and all of it, how it's handled and treated and thought through, really represents that divine masculine. And then when she sits in the chair, it represents him holding her. And if a child gets in it, it represents him holding the child. If say a girl is being proposed to and she's in the chair, it represents that masculine energy that has been protecting her. And so as part of the vision and mission of Home Vestures to bring up the quality, it's also to impress upon the minds of the makers that the chair represents them, the man, the good man. The high quality man. The man that wants to hold her. And I don't think guys really understand it. You know, they see it as unnecessary, but they don't see it as a representation of them. And so if they saw it, they would really want everybody, every person that they love to have it, because it would represent their desire to hold and to carry and to allow a resting place, a safe resting place for her, for them. And also that it's chosen. It's the chosen piece of furniture that people like to use in photographs. And so even if you've got an entourage of women in and around the chair, it symbolizes him. He holds a place. in that image. Even though he physically may not be in the photo, the chair represents the man. So I really like that, and I hope that it can gain momentum in our production and in the making that we're doing of the Peacock chairs. And if you haven't checked out, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. If you haven't checked out Home Vestures, then you'll know the beautiful things that we're making. We make Peacock chairs, and I was talking about this in the beginning, that the first Peacock chair was made in a prison by a woman who allegedly killed her husband. And she's photographed in the chair holding her child. And it's just a black and white, like newspaper print photo, and probably a couple hundred years old, this photograph of her, and I'm gonna get it. But so this woman made the first chair, and I was thinking, why would she make this chair, this Peacock chair? And because, when we think about the peacock, we think about like this flaunting and these feathers, and it represents the guy, it represents the dude, it represents his beauty, it represents his magnificence, it represents his colors, it represents his power, it represents his uniqueness and his singularity. And so this woman that made the first Peacock chair in the Manila prison made it. Sorry, I'm in Indonesia on a very busy road in my showroom right now. And I just had a meeting with my makers about a Peacock chair that we're revising. It's one that you've seen a lot. Actually, Anthropology has sold this chair. And it's similar to this one, but not identical. But I thought about this originally when I thought about her making this chair, this woman that was in the prison. And by the way, they give rattan to the inmates and allow them to make furniture, and then they can sell their furniture. And oh, by the way, I worked with inmates for 20 years on furniture projects in Delaware, in the USA, and man, I was right up side by side rubbing shoulders with those inmates on my projects. And so it's interesting now that I'm involved with this chair that has a connection to the prison. And so she made this chair, and I thought, what was she thinking, and she made this Peacock chair. And at first I thought maybe she was thinking like there was a part of him that was flaunting and that wanted to show his feathers and wanted to strut around and have this open attention by everyone. And so she made this chair. But what it ended up symbolizing for me was that it represents the man and how he holds her. And so my thoughts went to this woman, because I really thought about her a lot. I have thought about her a lot. It's a woman that allegedly killed her husband, who originated the Peacock chair in the Manila prison. And I just thought about her a lot, and I thought, maybe what she really wanted was to be held in this beautiful masculine power. And I think that a lot of guys might think of the Peacock chair as really pointless. But think about just that idea of it being pointless. Because if it is the male, and he's thinking that it's pointless, and then if we've got men that are making it that don't understand how important the quality is and that it's pointless, in the end, it really represents them. So I am speaking to all the guys and all the girls, but I'm also speaking to my Peacock chair makers and all the Peacock chair makers that I work with, that this chair represents you, the male, and you want to construct it so that it can hold her. And it's made from a very delicate wood. It's the silk of all woods. But being silk, it needs to have a quality that will hold. And it's definitely the choice in the home for photos. So I was saying earlier that we see a lot of women in the Peacock chair, but what is always represented in those photos is him. Because this chair symbolizes him and symbolizes him holding her and providing a beautiful place for her to be held. And not only her, him, or a child, or a grandmother or a grandfather. And so that was kind of the download that I got this morning on the Peacock chair. And when you see it, I mean, you already know why it's so big and fan-like and absurd and bodacious, especially the chairs that we have. It's because it represents him. And so I guess I'm putting out a challenge to all the Peacock chair makers, is to let it represent them in the best and most beautiful way, because it's going to hold people. And just think, that's what I think the male or masculine energy represents, is the power to hold and to keep safe and to provide a beautiful, safe place for all people that are in their lives, and to show it, to show their beauty, to show their skill, to show their thought, to show their detail. It's you guys, man. It's the dudes out there. This is a dude chair. I know it seems like it's not, but it is. So big love to all the makers, and especially to all of you that have Peacock chairs in your house and that are buying Peacock chairs. I know that it kind of seems like they go in and out, in and out, in and out. But when has a man ever been out of style? Never. When has safety ever been out of style, or beauty? Our homes are probably one of the most rewarding places that we can ever create in. It's the safe place for us to create beauty in corners, on walls, on surfaces. There's so much reward in creating beauty in our homes, and I just love it. I mean, it's been one of the greatest rewards of my life. And I want to say that I took home very seriously, and also marriage. I've been married 38 years and I have 7 kids. I'll tell you right now, though, my husband and I don't live in the same country, but we make our own rules. And that's the kind of thing that you get to do when you've been married 38 years and you have 7 kids and 11 grandchildren. You get to make your own rules because you literally have become your own world. And that's what I've done. I've created my own world, my own family, and you know, there's just so much adventure in life. And if you're thinking about what to do, I would say don't leave this planet without having an offspring. Because I've never seen a happier mother cat than when she is having offspring. She will purr throughout the whole birthing process. And man, if her babies die, she is miserable. So it's definitely a whole different experience, but that's another topic. This is what I do. I make peacock chairs with a lot of peacock chair makers in Indonesia, including Cirebon and Bali. And I've been to the Philippines. I have not been to the prison where the chair originated. But I think every home should have a peacock chair, don't you? Big love to all you guys. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. And sunshine, happiness, and fly. Have you guys heard the new Lenny Kravitz Fly? You got to go check it. It's so good. All right. Take care. Talk to you later.